First off, welcome back. How's pre-season started for you and what have all the lads doing?
Yeah, good. We've done 4 sessions, so we're well in. Obviously, at this time of year, you keep tabs on everybody else, and you see when they're in, and you keep tabs on signings and bits and pieces. But we've been keen to focus on ourselves. We've done 4 really good sessions. We had a bit of pre-season for those that wanted it as well. So yeah, we're happy. We're trying to get the balls out as much as we can, but in the same vein, we need to make sure that we're physically fit enough to do the job come the 12th of August.
Obviously, we've got plenty of new signings on show today. Of the ones that have been announced, you know, Nathan Webb, Ben Richardson, like, what can you tell us about them? What were they?
Well, they're good players. You know, we've got. I think we've seen 35 players sort of in the last week. So we've got some good players of good pedigree. The trick is obviously to get them playing the way we want to play them, getting them moulding and deciding, making decisions, because this time of year is predominantly about making decisions on the players that we want and the players that we don't. And it's in some respects it's nice to see so many people want to play for the football club. In the same vein, you've got to be, as a manager, probably a bit ruthless at this time of year, and we've got to make sure we've got what we need and what we want. So we've done a lot of work in getting players here that we wanted down. We've still got some work to do. There's still players that we're actively chasing, as every manager will be at this point. But the likes of Webby and Ben Richardson, and obviously by the time this goes out, we've done Aaron Fleming as well. We've signed obviously Eddie Moran and Greg Daniels. They're all the high quality, high calibre players, and the more that we can attract those sort of players to Rammy, the better side we're going to have.
We've made 2 signings from Glossop.
Yeah.
Is that something you're interested in, getting players with winning mentality? Obviously, they did quite well last season.
Yeah. I mean, we just want good players, so it doesn't really matter where they come from. I mean, we're looking at 2 lads that have come from a little bit lower down the non-league pyramid, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So the more we just want good players at the football club, but more importantly for me is the players with the right mentality. I think it's fairly clear that we had some egos in the dressing room last year, and those egos aren't in the dressing room anymore. And we've got a very good, strong sort of unit of players. We've got a nice mentality around the club, and everybody's working hard for a common goal. And as I say, the more players we can get in that match our ethos and the way we want to do things, the better.
Oh, was that something I was going to ask actually? Over the summer we've seen a lot of key departures, like Salmon for example. Was that something you always had planned, or did it come as a shock to you?
It wasn't a shock to me. Ryan wasn't a shock. It was just a case that we couldn't agree on how I wanted to move the club forward, and where Ryan wanted to be in that. So sometimes you can't do deals with players. It just doesn't work out that way. Sometimes you're not going to agree finances, for example, or standards, for example. So we wanted to do things a certain way this year, and our standards are non-negotiable. And if players aren't able to hold to those standards, then there's no place for them at this football club. Ryan's got himself a good deal, I believe, at another club, and that's fine. We don't fall out with people. We allow them to move on, and we wish them all the best of luck. But for me, I say the ethos and the mentality of the players coming to this football club has got to be right, and that's a key focus for us.
Obviously, looking around, we've got a couple of new staffers in the club now. I know some of them have been announced, but what type of roles will they be doing, and how are they going to benefit us this season?
Well, obviously Graham Lancashire came in end of last season, and Graham will remain in with us for the foreseeable, and he gives us that bit of experience, and he gives us that bit of obviously he's been a professional footballer himself, and he's nice to have around the place. He has a good rapport with the lads, so it's one that works for us. We've got a new physio. Obviously, Matt Booth's moved on. He was fantastic for this football club. He's a great physio and a good friend of mine as well. But obviously, his commitments, sometimes people's commitments don't match what we need at the football club. So we brought Luke Smith in, who's got some good experience of this level and higher. He's worked at Bolton's Academy. He's worked at Northwich Fix. Did a bit at Osset last season, so he knows the ins and outs of it. And again, the lads have taken to him well, and it's good to know that our medical department is well serviced, because it's key to getting players back on the pitch.
Obviously, we've got quite a wide variety of pre-season fixtures, ranging from football league clubs to a trip to Wales. You're looking forward to, and what was the thinking behind the?
I'm looking forward to playing football again, because it's felt an age since we finished at Burscough. It's felt like a long time, and I think everyone's chomping at the bit to play some games and get things started. And obviously, we can say that we've got some good players here that we're looking at and trialists and all the rest of it. But until you see them in a game situation, you just don't know. So I'm looking forward to all of them. Obviously, Accrington and Blackburn and Fleetwood, the 3 home games against sort of Football League opposition will be nice. It'll be they'll hopefully bring big crowds with them as well, and we can get people from the town down and start to sort of ramp up the anticipation for the start of the season. I think Carmarthen will be a nice trip away, because obviously we're going to Wales and get lads on a bus and all the sort of tomfoolery that goes with that. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, just to get kicked off, let's get started and let's get underway and let's see exactly where we are. Nobody actually knows where they are at this point. All you can judge is where you were against where you were last season. We don't know what other clubs are doing. Nobody knows. So until we get to the probably 5 o'clock on the 12th of August, we don't know who the real sort of movers and shakers in the league will be.
We've got any plans for the annual, well, I say annual, pre-season fixture with Bury at all? Is that...
We're not. Unfortunately, Bury can't accommodate us this year, which is a shame. It's a shame because they've got a Radcliffe, which is frustrating. But yeah, we've had a good relationship with Bury. It's a shame really that they couldn't fit us in this year, but they've had a change of manager and obviously they want to do things slightly differently. So I'm pleased that we've got some really good tests in pre-season. We would have accommodated Bury if they could have accommodated us. It hasn't worked out. I'm sure there'll be something in future.
Touching on last season, towards the end of the season, form started to drop off. What have you done to counteract that and to stop it happening again this season? What's the plan?
Well, we won the last two, so we sort of stopped that. Stopped that, if you like. I mean, the fact that we've only kept 9 players probably speaks volumes. So there's 9 retained, and obviously this is going to be a new Ramsbottom United side. It's going to be a different team. The fact is, it had to be. And we've worked really hard over the summer. I mean, your busiest period as a manager is when the last ball's kicked at Burscough and you go into the sort of 17-18 mode and you recruit and you get speaking to those players that you want and you try and get them over the line. Some we've got, some we haven't, some we're still working on, some we might just get out of a bit of luck, but it's the mentality has to change at the club, and it will change at the club, and hopefully that will breed results. We can have everything, we can have every piece of technology, and we do things well here in terms of technology and try and do things professionally as we can. You can have everything in the world, but if it doesn't get you football results, it's pointless. So my job is to turn a different set of players and get them sort of moulded and gelled together and use all the sort of tips and tricks that we've got to get some football results.
You've been keeping the eye out on teams in the league, other teams, in terms of signings and anybody you think are going to do well this season?
Yeah, we know everything about everybody. I think obviously the rumour mill's huge. You get snippets of information from places. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it comes true, some of it doesn't. So we know, I think we know roughly where clubs are. We know styles of managers. We know the sort of players that will follow managers into certain clubs, and you start to get an indication of budget. Although that's very speculative at the moment from everybody. But we know the sort of players that are already been announced, and now it's the 1st of July. We'll see more players being announced sort of next week or so, and we'll start to have an idea. Ultimately, you can sign top players, but it doesn't always work that way. You can have huge budgets, and there are teams in this league that will have huge budgets. Doesn't always work that transfers into results either. So we've got to look after ourselves, make sure that we're in a good place, and then we'll see what we do from there.
Have you got any ambitions or aims this season? I understand with a lot of new players, it's going to take time of bedding in and getting together, but what's the main...
Yeah, but it's important that we hit the ground running. It's important that pre-season, that's what pre-season's for, to make sure that when we go out there, wherever it may be on the 12th of August, that we're competitive and that we give ourselves the best possible chance of winning that game. There'll be, I would imagine, 18 of the 22 managers in this league will think they've got a chance, at least at the playoffs, and I think you can put us in with those 18, because I'm still here thinking, yeah, we've got a chance. We've brought some good players in, we've got more players to come, so that some will play it down, some won't, but there'll be a vast majority of the managers in this division will be sat there thinking, yeah, we've got a chance this year, and we're probably in that category as well.
Last thing, for the fans that are watching this, is there anything you'd like to tell them about the new season?
Well, I think obviously it's a bit of a fresh start. There was a change last year, a couple of changes last year. This is a new look side, like as we said. What we need now is obviously the town to get behind us now. It's easier for people to, it's easier for us to command bigger gates when we're doing well. So our plan is to let's hit the ground running, get some wins under our belt, make a good start, which is important in this division, and it'd be great to see as many people down there. We've got new things happening at the club. There's commercial and community and media and all this sort of thing happening. So the more we can ramp up the interest, the better. But our job is to put a winning football team out on that pitch, and everything else will snowball from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Season.
Cheers. Thank you.